Alright guys, here it is. 91 Easy Go golf cart. Gonna do the gas to electric conversion on this, or at least try. Easy Go's pretty tight in here. We're gonna see exactly how it's gonna fit. I'm gonna go with the 6.5 horsepower electric start and the tab 2 torque converter. Still got a lot of stuff to get out of here. I've gotten all the batteries out so far. I have somebody's gonna come by and pick those up for scrap metal and buy those off of me at $12 a battery. Not too bad there. Get all the electronics in the motor and get those on eBay. Get those out of here. There's not a whole lot of room to work in here. We're going to see how this is going to fit in there. I'll get back to you again after I get this all out and all cleaned up. Alright, here we go. Got everything cleared out of the cart here. Pulled everything out here. Pulled the motor off. Just like the other guy I've seen, he picked up a hub for the motor. It's a weld-on sprocket. I guess they called it a weld sprocket. So it was this piece, and then I bought the sprocket after that. And what I did is I measured the output shaft here on the transmission for the go-kart here, and I got 20.7 millimeters my micrometer on there. And that closest I could get to that was this piece here, and it's 13/16. And I picked this stuff up here at Tractor Supply, and this 13/16 comes out to 20.4, so just a little bit too small. So I went in there with my grinder, just worked it out just a little bit at a time until I could barely get it on there. So that's that. I'm going to go through and put a punch through there onto the motor, the little shaft coming out there, and I'm going to drill that. That way I can use this set screw. I don't want to weld this on because I don't know. All I had was a 16 tooth on there. So it's a 10 tooth on the torque converter, and then a 16 tooth back here for a 40 chain. I don't know how that's going to work exactly. So I don't want to weld this on there and make it permanent. So I'm going to see if I can just barely get that snugged on there and then drill that out so I can run that set screw in there. And hopefully that, there's actually two set screws. There's one there, and there's another one back there. So maybe between those two set screws it'll have enough to at least hold it on there, and I can at least ride it around and see if that's the setup I want. And if it is, and I'm happy with it, then if it starts slipping, then I could actually just weld it to the shaft on there. I hadn't cut the battery boxes out. I don't know exactly how it's going to get. The motor's supposed to come in today, that the 200 clone motor with electric start, and I don't know. I'm going to make a template and lay it out in here. I really don't want to cut a whole lot of this out. I mean, just the minimum I have to. I think I'm going to run angle iron between these two members here, and hopefully the motor is going to stay on there. I'm going to do angle iron, and then I'm going to do some rubber bushings between there to keep the vibration down. So we'll see. I'm going to do a little more work on here, and I'll come back with another video. Right, here we go again, doing a little more work. You can see now I've gotten, I took some angle iron, made a pattern of the bottom of the brand new motor I got there with the torque converter on it. Made a pattern of that, laid it out. Got some pieces of angle iron here, and did some welding there. Welded along there. I don't know how long it's going to hold. It's kind of rusty stuff, but it was holding the batteries just fine, so I'm sure it'll hold this motor at least for a little while here. What I'm going to do here is once I get that motor on, I found these little rubber, I guess it might be a bushing or something like that at Ace Hardware. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put these down, drill those, and I'm going to mount the motor on top of those, and hopefully that'll keep down some of the vibration there. I do got the sprocket on back here. It's ready to go. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my pattern out with the bolt pattern on there, and I'm going to drill the holes all the way through there for the motor to go bolted on. I'll get started on that, and I'll make another video once the motor's in. Alright, here it is. I was up pretty late last night getting this thing roughed in. You can see the motor's in. Chain's on. Pretty much good to go. I took a quick little lap here around the driveway here, but I didn't quite get the motor lined up very good, and you can see right there where the chain's hitting the side of the torque converter there. So I'm gonna let's see if I can loosen the bolts up, straighten it out. From what I did go, man, this thing took off and ran. So I'm going to straighten that up and run it one more time, and then I'm going to pull all this back apart and go in with some square tubing, box all this in, and fortify it up. So I'll make another video after I get to that point. Alright guys, here we are. I'm pretty much done completely getting this thing at least roughed in and ready to go. I did get the throttle cable hooked up. Let me show you how I did that here. I took this arm, which used to be hooked up to the potentiometer. It was actually back over here in between the two pulleys on the torque converter. What I did is I pulled that arm out. I cut 8 inches off and re-welded it back on, and then I turned it sideways on its side. I used the same little spacer or bracket, I guess you could call, that was originally on the golf cart. I put it on there sideways, and then I fabbed up a little piece of metal here. I don't know if we can get a good shot of that. And I had this cable is actually a throttle cable off a Kawasaki Mojave that I was originally going to use at some point in time. I never got around to it. So you can see I got it connected there, and it kind of loops up back around. Then over here I did the same thing. I took a piece of metal, I bent it, cut a little piece in there, and put it in. Sorry about the space. The washers kind of look ugly, I know it. I'm going to go to a hardware store and probably get something better. But here it is. Working on the whole foot pedal there. Pretty cool little deal there. I'm going to pull all this out now. Pull all this stuff back out and go in and replace all these battery boxes. I'm going to just fab up probably some square tubing and just build a rigid frame on this piece here. So I hadn't seen very many videos where people showed the actual throttle cable, how they hooked the throttle cable up. This is how I did it. I'm sure there's probably better ways to do it, but this is it.